Okay, hi everybody. Welcome to today's session. I'm Jason Gumpert from msdynamicsworld.com, and we're here to look at the top 10 e-commerce implementation mistakes merchants make with Dynamics 365. Our primary presenter today is Jason Diaz of Hitachi Solutions. It's great to have him back. As we get started, please know that we do welcome your questions. We also have Ranjit Gore on the line, who will be watching for questions to come in and helping answer those as well. Just look for the Q&A block to the right of the main presentation area, the Q&A block there. If you don't see it, look for the question mark icon in the upper right of the window. That should enable questions for you. So I think we're about ready to begin. Please let me welcome Jason to get us started.
Thanks, Jason. So for today's session, just wanted to throw up a quick agenda of what we'll be covering. So the agenda for today, we'll just have a look at the Hitachi Solutions e-commerce overview, kind of just give you an idea of the solution that we have to offer, and then we'll actually get into some of the top 10 mistakes we have seen with some of our customers that are using our solution integrated with the Dynamics family. So Dynamics 365, but it also applies to all of the other Dynamics solutions like GP, SL, NAV. And then we'll also talk about a free assessment offer that we have available. So just to give you a quick overview about the solution. So it is an e-commerce solution, and the solution is available both as a B2B as well as a B2C offering. A solution built completely on the Microsoft stack and for Dynamics customers. So that's primarily a niche that we do, where we target mainly Dynamics customers. So whether you're running Dynamics 365 Finance and Operation, which traditionally is the AX, or Customer Engagement, which is CRM, but we also integrate with Dynamics GP, SL, and NAV. The solution is available both as a license offering as well as a SaaS offering. So you do have the ability to purchase the licenses, or you could do a SaaS offering. And it's also available on Microsoft Azure, so you could also host it on Azure as well. As part of the solution, in addition to just being an e-commerce solution, we also have an order entry solution as well as a customer portal, especially in B2B terms where you may not be doing any online ordering, but at the same time, you do need a customer portal for customers to view invoices and all of that. Currently around 300 plus storefronts that are active on this platform. And as part of the solution, you have a complete web store with multi-channel browsing capability. So as part of the whole multi-channel functionality, you could have multiple storefronts, but you could also do the complete omni-channel scenarios, which is like you're bringing in your e-commerce, your point-of-sale orders. It's all one channel that from a customer standpoint, they have one experience. There's multiple themes available. All of them are responsive web-based templates, ability to configure different kind of promotions. It's multilingual, multi-currency. From a customer standpoint, you have the ability to manage all of your customer information, the purchase history, order history. And as I mentioned, it's both a B2B and a B2C solution. And I'll actually show you a little bit on to kind of give you a flavor of both B2B as well as B2C offering. Same goes with the sales orders, the ability where you can have multiple shopping carts, the ability to save carts for future use, also the ability to copy to cart, copy order to cart. And then also from a CRM standpoint, you have the ability where you can also do quote entry. So this is kind of like if you have a complete quote to cash process, that's where you can also take advantage of that. From an integration standpoint, we integrate with all of the Dynamics ERPs. That's your D365 for operations, that's AX, GP, NAV, SL. Also in terms of CRM, we also integrate with a couple of Sage products as well. In terms of shipping, we do integrate with all of the shipping carriers like UPS, FedEx, DHL, Yellow, ESTS Conway in terms of LTL shipping. We integrate with tax engines like CCH, Avatax, Vertex, as well as a whole bunch of social media integration as well. Just to give you a high-level overview of some of the customers that are using the solution, as I mentioned, both B2B as well as B2C. So you have customers across the board from both sides of the coin, that's B2B and B2C. From a software standpoint, it is a constant investment that we are making. So our last major release, which was 9.1, we invested around $2 million into the product. As I mentioned, it's Azure Marketplace listed, so it is available on the Azure Marketplace, and that's where you could also host it on Azure. CFMD certified for Microsoft Dynamics, so a good example of this certification is as and when there's a new version of Microsoft Dynamics, SL, GP, NAV, or AX, we have a 90-day period to ensure that our solution is compatible with the latest version. Also PCI certified, we are PADSS 3.0 certified and also listed on the PCI Standards Council website. Also, in addition to that, we also do SIM services integration. So this is the new thing we are seeing with most of our customers where they don't want to take on any credit card liability. And at the same time, they do want to make it easy for customers to save their credit card as part of the credit card wallet. And that's where we integrate with SIM services where all credit card information as part of the wallet is saved at the payment gateway's end. But from a customer standpoint, it seems like it doesn't feel like they have to go to the payment gateway's website to manage their wallet. It is all integrated into one solution. As I mentioned, all of our templates are responsive web-based templates, so whether you're accessing it on a desktop or on a mobile device, it'll automatically resize based on the browser. And these are just an example of some of our templates. So this is an example of a global apparel, and we'll actually have a look at some of this. Another example, so it really gives you the flexibility on how you want to do your template design. We do have some out-of-the-box templates available that you could select and use. But at the same time, if you would prefer to do your own designs, we can take that design and implement it as a template. And as I mentioned, both B2B as well as B2C optimized. So like we have a tool store which is very B2B optimized, kind of just because the way B2B shoppers shop is kind of different where typically in terms of a B2C customer, I'll select a particular size, color, and add it to my shopping cart. But in terms of B2B customers, they typically would see a grid format of all the product variants available, and that's where they can purchase multiple at one time. As I mentioned, global solutions, so it is multi-storefront capable, multi-currency, multilingual. So this is an example of a customer that has operations across multiple regions. Another example of a customer that has operations as well as multilingual. So here's where I can select what language I want to see the website in as well as my currency. So it is multi-currency as well. There's a whole lot of social media integration that's part of the solution, the ability to like a product on Facebook or to tweet it or to share it on Google+1, so multiple social media integrations available. The ability to even go ahead and display our entire storefront on Facebook. So this way, customers are not even leaving Facebook, they're browsing the website on Facebook, and they can also complete a purchase as part of the Facebook storefront itself. One of our main goals, and that's what we do a lot of A&B variant testing around, is to see how easy it is to provide customers with information, like the ability where I can select a product, see the different product options of colors or variants, and I can very easily select it, add it to my cart, and place the order. So our main goal as part of most of our templates is to improve conversion rates, whether you're B2B or B2C. At the end, the main goal is to see that a customer who visits the website actually places an order. There's a lot of upsell, cross-sell that can also be set up, both automated as well as manual. So the related products, these are like your, and optional accessories, these are like your manual upsell that you define. But at the same time, you can also do upsell and cross-sell based on sales statistics, like customers who purchased also purchased, or based on my browsing history, what other customers are purchasing. From a search engine optimization standpoint, there's the ability where you can manage all of your search engine content as part of the solution, and you can also submit your website for different search engine crawlers like Google and Bing, all from the management console itself. So you don't have to have a separate UI to go ahead and just do your search engine optimization. And then there's also the ability where you can do product configuration. So the ability where you can configure products, and this could be driven based on configurations that you have set up in the ERP. So like a good example is here's where I can actually build my own cell phone plan, or in this case, I can actually shop a look, which is more like an experience where I can actually provide the customer with an image of all the different items that are part of this look, and here's where I can actually configure my look and shop based on the different options available. We'll actually get into do a quick overview of the solution, kind of show you some of the websites that we have, and kind of take it from there on. So this is a good example of one of our demo websites. So here's where I have like a global apparel store. Here's where I can, if you see, there's rotating banner images that I can actually link to different product pages or category pages. So in this case, I can see my sandals where I can actually directly go ahead and shop from this screen itself. But at the same time, you can also advertise for various products, like if there's a particular product, or it could be just a blog article. So all of this is something you can very easily manage these templates through the backend solution. Here's where I have my entire catalog hierarchy. I can see all of my categories, subcategories. In this case, I can also drill down if I want to see all my apparel products. I can see my athletic gear as well as my jerseys. And then I can drill down out here. I can see my products for that particular category. There's also the ability where I can view it as a grid format, or I can view it as a list format. So the flexibility is there. I can sort by different options, new arrivals, or price, or product name, or popularity. I also have the ability where I can narrow down these listings. So a good example is I could do it by price range, or by category, or material. So I can see a listing of all the different attributes that I can actually narrow down my product listing out here. I also have the option where, in this case, I can see product information. I can also go ahead, add items to a compare list. So if I wanted to compare multiple products together, I can actually add them to a compare list, and here's where I can actually view product comparison. And you can define the attributes you want to display as part of your product comparison. So in this case, I can see all of my products. In this case, what are the different color options available, size options available. And then here's where I can also drill down into a particular product, and here's where I can see product information. Also out here, if you notice, there's zoom in capability. So we can, all that we need is one high resolution image, and we can automatically create the zoom in capabilities, the ability where you can also create multiple product images. And all of these images will have the zoom in option as well. Here's where I can even see different product variants. Like in this case, it could be size, color, and so here's where I can select. I can see what the pink option looks like, or I can select the yellow option. There's the ability where I can share this on various social media websites. I can share it on Facebook or Twitter. So the whole social media integration is already part of the solution. I can also share this product with a friend. Out here, I can see product information like my description. I can also see additional upsell, cross-sell, in this case, what other customers have purchased. And this is something which you could have both automated as well as manual. There's also the ability where I can view customer reviews. So any reviews that customers have written, I can view the reviews out here. And as part of the solution, you could use our customer reviews, but at the same time, we can also integrate with third-party review engines like BuzzardTalk, and there's different options available. So I can also see, integrate with other reviews. And then I can also add a review if I need to. And then I can actually go ahead, add this item to my shopping cart, and I'll basically add it out here where I have a little floating cart. And you can advertise also as part of this. You have different static content blocks that you can advertise for either promotions you're running and so on. Another example of a demo website out here, so this is where I can see all of my gadgets out here. I have my featured items, bestsellers. So bestsellers is a good example which will be driven based on sales statistics. My deal of the day, any RSS feeds, here's where I can integrate those RSS feeds. I can even see my different keywords that customers are searching for, and it's going to show me the number of times that keyword has been searched for. And I can drill down and see a whole listing. You can also get a list of all these keywords, so that way if there are any commonly misspelled keywords, you can set up alternate keywords as well. And then here's where I can actually drill down into my electronics. I can see all of my televisions out here. I can drill down. So this is where I get a listing of all of my televisions, and here's where I can even get real-time inventory. So this is where you can display inventory messages like ships within 24 to 48 hours if it's in stock, or if it's out of stock, a different message. Or you could even set up like a threshold where if there's inventory goes below a particular number, you could show a different message like limited stock available. But at the same time, you can still provide real-time inventory to the customers, and this is where the system will make a call real-time to your ERP to get inventory information, so that way customers have accurate information available. And that really applies in a B2B scenario where you actually want to provide inventory information. But this is where I can actually drill down into a particular product detail page. So here's where I have my my package product. Here's where I can even see a different kind of promotion that I'm running, where I have the buy the plasma TV and get the Bluetooth headset for free. So that's where you can run buy one, get one free promotion. Another good example of a A and B variant optimized template. So just replacing add to cart with get this deal does improve conversion rate. So these are the kind of things we will help you out from an e-commerce experience standpoint. And this is another way in which you can provide your information like your features, your product downloads, any accessories, customer reviews. Here's where I can see my related products, and then obviously I have customers who purchased, also purchased, and so on. Also, as part of the search, there's the ability where I can actually search based on a keyword, or I could search based on like a complete phrase, and the system will automatically show me autofill capabilities where I can see the different options available out here. Another example of a web store, so this is where you can actually have like a JavaScript out here. So you can incorporate any kind of JavaScript, like on mouse over, it's showing me this entire tab where I'm seeing any promotions or new arrivals or my rewards program. I can see all of my items out here, what customers are saying, which is nothing but reviews that were received on the website. This is an example of a B2B web store. So if you notice, my first screen is a login screen. I cannot access the catalog unless and until I'm logged into my account. So once I go ahead and log in, so I'll just go ahead and log into my account. At that point of time is when I will get access to the catalog. And as part of the B2B, as part of the B2B solution, you can also go ahead and define customer-specific catalogs. So depending on which customers logged in, they will get to see a catalog that applies to them. So here's where I can see like my shopping cart. It shows me all the items that are part of the cart. I can retain them, or I could discard my shopping cart and start new. But here's where I can actually see all of my categories now that I'm logged in. And in terms of B2B, you have like something called as a quick order entry screen, just because B2B customers shop in a different way, where they already know the items that they want to purchase. So they typically would just use like a quick order entry screen. But at the same time, there is the catalog that's available for them, where I can actually see all of my products that are part of the catalog. And again, there's the ability where I can drill down, I can get real-time inventory, and I can add items to my cart. So just an example of the different flavors you have in terms of your catalog. I'll go through a quick checkout process. So we'll go through the checkout. So as part of the checkout, here's where I have the option where I can place this order as a guest account, create a new account. But I also have the ability where I can log in using social media. So a lot of our customers are actually using this, where customers don't need to create an account via the Facebook authorization. We can create an account and get all the relevant information that's needed. But here's where I can actually go ahead and log into my accounts. In this case, I'll log in and place this order. I'm going to log in right now. And once I log in, at that point of time, the system will automatically go ahead and pull in all of my information. So since I'm an existing customer, it's basically showing me a listing of all the addresses that I have on file. I can select an address, or I can create a new address if I need to. In terms of integration, as we mentioned, we do integrate with all of the carriers, so UPS, FedEx, DHL, so we can integrate with those carriers. But at the same time, you can also create custom shipping methods like select, which could be where they'll pick it up from the warehouse, Or in terms of like if you're doing B2C, you can also have a complete omni-channel where I can actually buy online and pick up in store, and that's where I can select which store I want to pick it up from. And as part of the integration, the system will automatically notify the store about the so-and-so items that will be picked up. Here's where I can apply a coupon code or a gift certificate. I can continue with my checkout. If you notice, I can also use Amazon Pay. So this is where the checkout process would you be using the your customer's Amazon account. Or I could actually go ahead and pay using different options like credit card, PayPal. There's ACH where in terms of B2B customers, I can enter my account information. Or I could also just go ahead and select terms as a payment option, and that's where I'll check for my customer's credit terms and validate that. In this case, I can select credit card. If you notice, I have a credit card wallet, and this is whether you're using our credit card wallet or we can also integrate with SIM services. All that I need to do is enter my CSV code, and here's where I can actually opt in and opt out of various email threads or email that can be sent out, and I can place this order. So this was a quick checkout process, and here's where I can actually see my order got placed along with an order number that got assigned to me. There's a complete My Account section as well, so here's where I can actually go ahead and keep a track of everything that's part of my account. So if I go into my Account dashboard, here's where I can actually see my complete account information, all the addresses that I have on file. So I can see a listing of all the addresses. I can edit existing addresses. I can see my recent orders, recent quotes, recent transactions. These are in terms of payments. It could be payments made towards an invoice, or it could be just a payment towards an order. And then at the same time, I can also see invoices. So this is in terms of B2B customers. I can see open invoices, and I can also make payments against open invoices. So here's where I can see like a complete order history. I can see all of my orders that I have as part of the system. I can track it based on date range as well as order status. And then I can also go ahead and track my order. So we do have integrations with the carrier to get tracking information. There's also the ability where I can copy to cart. So if I have an existing order, I can just replicate it. And this is used a lot by B2B customers as well. Here's where I can see a listing of all of the items I've purchased in the past. So that way I can just come add quantities at one time. So 2 of these, 1 of this, and I can add all of them to my shopping cart at the same time. In terms of B2B customers, this is what I was talking about, the quick order entry screen, where I could just key in an item code, or I could search based on different keywords. So if I look for jersey, I can see all the products, and it'll basically show me options that I can actually select that. It shows me the different options available. I can select multiple quantities, and I can add it to my quick order screen, all from this one screen out here. I can also go ahead and manage these ordering lists, and the list is as simple as item code and quantity. I can upload these lists from an Excel sheet. I can create as many lists as I want. And once I'm ready to place an order, just hitting this button would add the items into my order out here. It's also going to give me any error notifications, like say if an item is not available anymore, or if it was a dummy SKU, it will keep track of that and provide customers with information. So this is another example on how B2B customers typically would do their shopping. There's also the ability where I can actually view my complete aging balance. So this would be my credit limit as well as my complete open AR balance. And this again is coming from your ERP system. So that way any updates made to the credit limit or any payments that were made towards invoices would reflect in the aging report. And then there's the ability where I can have multiple shopping carts, save carts, my wish list. Here's where I can view my invoices, all the invoices that I have on file. And it'll also basically, if there are any open invoices, it'll give me the option where I can make a payment either by credit card or I could pay it off by ACH. And then customers can also manage their preferences in terms of like all the emails they want to receive. They can opt in and opt out of emails, set up their turn off their recent history, set up their preferred payment options. So once these preferences are set up, as part of the checkout, it becomes like a one-click checkout process. And then there's also the ability where I can manage my complete address book, edit addresses, add new addresses, and this will keep the address book in sync with the ERP as well. There's also the ability where I can set up contacts. So this could be a sub-accounts in terms of B2B customers where I may have one main invoice account and multiple sub-accounts, which could be like one of them would be my purchasing person, one would be my AP person that would want to make payments. I can set up those accounts, and I can also create different access rights in terms of if I want to share information, so whether I want to share orders across all of these accounts. So like a good example, a purchasing agent will just see their orders versus an AP person that has to make payments, they will see all orders. So you can set up those kind of access rights as well. So that was just an overview I wanted to provide you in terms of what the solution is that we have to offer. But the next thing I want to talk basically is some of the mistakes that we have seen. So we have around 300 plus success storefronts that are using our solution. And we see a lot of mistakes that some of our customers make in terms of their integration between the e-commerce and the Dynamics platform or the ERP platform. So one of the biggest mistakes, and I'll go through, we have listed 10 of them. So we see a lot of customers running their e-commerce and their operations in two different silos. It's like the two don't really talk to each other. And one big issue with that is at the end of the day, any e-commerce order still needs to be fulfilled as part of the ERP system, which is your dynamic solution. And that's where we see a lot of our customers stumbling across that. And that's where one of our main recommendations is to use your D365 or your Dynamics platform as your master data, where you can manage all of the data in one location. So like a good example is your product categorization. So most of your ERPs like D365 has the ability where you can manage your entire categorization in the ERP. And once that is set up in the ERP as part of our integrations with Dynamics, we can actually bring all of that information back into the e-commerce. So it's one location, you do your setup, and it will automatically be part of the e-commerce solution as well. Another place we have seen is a lot of customers manage their product attributes and variants separately in e-commerce. And what really happens is every product variant, which is like your option of style, color, or size, that really maps to a product or an item in your ERP. And that's where any changes made to the ERP, if those changes are not made in the e-commerce solution, once an order is placed, that order will produce an error when it tries to integrate, because now that variant was changed in the ERP system. So that's where we also suggest that some of your main product attributes and variants should be set up in your Dynamics, and as part of the integration, we'll bring that information across. And the same goes with any additional product information like your specifications. All of that information is not really saved in your D365, but it's still required in e-commerce. So that's where we recommend saving it in both locations. The second problem that we see is a lot of our customers don't have web-friendly content. So like a good example is like I have it out here where you're providing calorie information. Now, if you have it in text format saying this is your total fat, sodium, carbohydrates, a customer is not going to read that properly and equate it to what it really means unless he sees it in a format that he's used to seeing it. And that's where we recommend having complete product descriptions set up, like your HTML and your rich text should be also set up, which is not available in D365, but we recommend that that should be set up in your e-commerce at least. Even your HTML tags, like a lot of times like tags will be added, but it will not be closed. And then when you view it as part of the e-commerce site, it appears distorted. And that's where we also recommend customers using the publish and preview option. So you can actually enter your content and you can actually preview and see what it would look like before you can even go ahead and publish it. Also, any URLs that you're referencing in your content, a lot of times those URLs are not present, though you're talking about a URL that is referenced, and that's where we recommend validating all of that information. Another thing that we are seeing is your catalog change management. So a lot of times, since e-commerce and your operations or your dynamics run in two different silos, changes made in D365 or Dynamics don't really reflect in e-commerce just because the e-commerce person was not notified to make any of those changes. And that's when we basically come up with conflicts or changes that once the integration runs will override each other. And that's where we recommend that these change management should be both not just from an or dynamic standpoint, but it should also involve the e-commerce person as well. Also, required fields are not being mapped between your Dynamics and your e-commerce platform. So that is another key thing where people make the change in Dynamics 365, but as part of the integration, don't really map that field to a field in e-commerce, and that's where e-commerce doesn't have that new updated information. So yeah, not only going through a change management, but also ensuring that all the information that is being updated in your Dynamics should also be mapped to e-commerce as part of the integration. Another piece that we're seeing is your image optimization. So a lot of time product images are not available in D365 or in Dynamics, and a lot of times they may not be needed. But in e-commerce, you do need alternate images, the ability where you can have thumbnail images, like a smaller image size versus even you may need a zoom-in image. So you do need a lot better picture resolution on the e-commerce side of it. So that's one thing that we recommend most of our customers to kind of, from an e-commerce standpoint, is to give a little better thought to image optimization, especially for the e-commerce website. And as part of image optimization, it's not just making sure you have good content, but it's also making sure that it's search engine optimized. So like a good example is adding your image alt tags and providing information. So as part of search engine optimization, those images can also be optimized. Another thing we are seeing is in terms of your D365 entity enhancements, so as I mentioned, your product categorization and attributes and product variants, but this also covers other integration entity mapping, such as your customers or sales orders. So a good example is, say, if you go ahead and change your customer entity in Dynamics, but you don't inform the e-commerce team about that change, the next time we want to send back a customer who placed an order as part of the integration, those integration entities are going to fail just because the changes made to these entities in Dynamics were not, that was not told to the e-commerce person to either make sure that we are capturing that additional data or that we are making sure that those fields are mapped to the appropriate fields in Dynamics. So also your D365 or your Dynamics change impact on e-commerce, so as I mentioned, like a lot of times things are done in Dynamics that are not analyzed for impact in e-com. So like someone in operations feels like the customer needs an additional field, and they will create that field, but since you're creating those customers manually in Dynamics, that field is created as a mandatory field. So the next time when something happens, changes, and we try to integrate a customer back from e-commerce into your Dynamics, that integration is going to fail because no one really tested it for any impact that it would have on e-commerce. So a lot of times we see a lot of these two systems running in two different silos, and that's what causes like support issues where next thing we're trying to figure out why the customer and the order didn't integrate just because someone created a field in Dynamics and didn't inform the e-commerce team. So that's where we also recommend that e-commerce consultants should be always be informed about any of these changes that are being done in Dynamics. Also, a lot of times we see a lot of incorrect setups and configurations that are being done in UAT. So like in terms of your change management practice as well as in terms of environments. So a good example is they will test something on a test environment in Dynamics, and everything seems fine. They forgot to do the testing from the e-commerce, and then they publish it to production. But now when you're in the production environment and and e-commerce starts to come into play, that's when things will start failing or integration errors will occur because that information was not tested. Also, a lot of times we see testing being done on data which is not true production data. It's like just standard data that the developer or someone created, and it's not really the true sense of production data. Also, in terms of integration setups and setups, so we do provide with a couple of recommendations in terms of our past learning and experiences. So we do ask our customers to kind of take some of our recommendations before making any changes. So as part of our implementations, we provide our recommendations. Customers do have the option where they say, no, this is not going to work, and then we will work with the customers. But we recommend starting based on some of our setups that we recommend based on our past learning and experiences. And also then finally, this comes down to more of your processes in terms of documentation, knowledge transfer. So a good example of documentation is like one way to do it is every time a change or a modification document is being written by a Dynamics person, all documentation templates should include like an e-commerce impact. So that way, anytime someone is writing a change that needs to be done to the system which is Dynamics related, there is a section which is e-commerce. It could be left blank, but at the same time, you're still validating and making sure, does this affect e-commerce in any way? And then also the same goes with environments and your testing, which you should be doing on production data. And then finally, obviously, your e-commerce, basically, everyone's business runs differently, but at the same time, we do have experience in terms of e-commerce and Dynamics, how they work together. So leverage some of your consultants who have experience across the board and take recommendations from some of the experts. So one other thing I'm going to let Ashley speak about this is we do have an assessment offer that we have. So Ashley, do you want to?
Perfect. Thank you so much, Jason.
Yeah.
As Jason mentioned, we have a really exciting offer today for webinar attendees. We're offering a free, no strings attached assessment for any webinar attendee who'd like an analysis of your organization's e-commerce implementation efforts and or a personalized roadmap for implementation success from an e-commerce expert. So if you have any questions about your e-commerce implementation or want to check if it's on the right track, or if you just want to learn what you need to get an implementation off to a smooth start, this is a great assessment for you to take advantage of. And to sign up for your assessment, please email na.marketing@hitachisolutions.com. And once you send in your email, a team member will be reaching out shortly to coordinate and schedule the best time for your assessment. We'll also be sending out an email to all attendees today with the webinar recording, so you're welcome to reply to that email to schedule your assessment as well. And with that, I think we can take any last questions. So if you all want to type in any last questions in the Q&A box, our team will get them answered as time allows. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, great. And so Jason and Ranji, and thank you, Ashley. And we have a question here. Pulling it up. Is your solution already translated to other languages, and do you work with partners to expand your geographic coverage? Specifically, this person is interested in Latin America.
Ranjit, do you want to take that?
Ranjit, you are on mute.
Yep. Sorry, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we do. And our support, as Jason mentioned, our solution supports both multi-currency and multilingual, even double byte. So, and we do work with partners from a geo perspective, not just from an implementation perspective, but even with other Dynamics channel partners, whether it is GP, SL, NAV, D365, or regional partners as well. We currently do not have presence in Latin America. We are primarily focused in North America. For the Americas, we have presence in APAC, Middle East, Europe, and Southeast Asia as well.
All All right, thank you for the question. I am not seeing any others in the queue. I will make a final call for questions, but Ashley, maybe I can leave it to you to wrap things up.
Perfect. Thank you, Jason. Thank you, everyone, so much for joining us. And again, if you'd like your free assessment, please do email na.marketing@hitachisolutions.com. And also be on the lookout for the email containing today's webinar recording. And please don't hesitate to reach out to us with any questions. Thank you again, everyone, for joining us today. Hope you have a great day.